Ask any chef what vegetable they consider to be indispensable in cooking, and most of the time the answer will be the onion. It's the essential ingredient in so many recipes. In fact, open Julia Child's cookbook, Mastering the Art of French Cooking, and one of the first things she says all cooks should master is how to properly use the onion. With the onion being such an important staple in the kitchen, this is certainly one ingredient we need a great many of. Thankfully, farmers like Kate Edwards have got us covered. She grows a lot of onions.
I have this great picture of me from my very first year, and my entire harvest of onions fit in one sack that was this big. And it's almost laughable looking at how many onions that I have now.
This truly passionate farmer runs Wild Woods Farm just outside of Iowa City.
My passion. It's like what I live for, is to farm.
Aside from onions, Kate supplies her CSA members with a wide variety of vegetables.
The standard line is there's 30 different types and 150 varieties. I actually counted the varieties one year. We grow a lot of your standard crops. I actually used to think vegetable farming was stupid. I thought real farming was corn and beans. But I decided that as a young farmer, I needed to be able to get into farming. And one of the ways to do that was vegetable farming. So I put my biases aside. And as an ironic side note, I now love vegetable farming. I farm because it's my passion. I farm because I feel like it's been passed down to me because my grandparents farm. And I farm because I want to create a way for other people to farm. So we planted over 40,000 onions. So these onions are called Red Zeppelin, and they will be stored all the way through the winter months.
She and her team harvested this crop of onions back in July, but the work is far from over. While they're easy to grow, the key to a long-lasting, great-tasting onion is a multi-step process, and it starts when you plant them.
When you plant onions in Iowa, you start by planting them as soon as you can get in the soil in April. And then you pretty much can forget about them once you've planted them. But generally speaking, onions are incredibly hardy, so you don't really need to water them unless you have an extraordinary dry period. So the care and maintenance that you want to do is really weeding. There's like a 1-week window. The last week of July is when you want to get them out. Because as my grandma says, you never want to let an August sun hit your onions.
If properly cured, onions should last you well through the winter months.
So you can eat a fresh onion. It'll be really strong and really good. But if you want to store your onions, the first thing you need to do is find a variety that will store well. Our Copra onions will last anywhere from like 8 to 10 months.
She has the nicest onions.
Once you harvest them, you're going to want to dry them somehow. We use our greenhouse to dry them, and then in the overflow, we use a wagon in the barn. Once they're on the wagon, they need to stay there for at least a few weeks to be able to get the onion tops completely dried down. And that's really important because that kind of seals off the top of the onion. And then when we cut them, we make sure that we cut above that place where it's sealed, and then we can store it for a long time.
It's hard to imagine a kitchen without onions. Thanks to the hard work of people like Kate, we're able to enjoy what is an essential Iowa ingredient.